In the opening scene of the movie, we see that it is late night and some friends are on the beach. They had a great time there, some were singing and others were dancing. Meanwhile, they discover a massive and strange object. They begin to mock it while also causing damage to it. They don't know what is inside it. After enjoying themselves, they all tired and sleep in their cars. In the morning they all wake up one by one. One of the girls named Marcia was sleeping on the table. Her friends wake her up, her condition worsens as she awakens. She vomits, they're all thinking it's because of the road. Marcia was having strange feelings. A girl named Kaylee sees a crow sitting on the sand there. That bird is perfectly fine, however, the sand begins to absorb it. As it were a deep bog. Kaylee becomes worried, and she tells her friend Marcia not to put her feet on the sand. There is a risk, but before Marcia can listen to her, she has stepped on sand. Her foot was sinking into the sand, she tried to take out her foot, but she couldn't pull it off. She was about to move her foot out with her hands. Because of it, her hands were also absorbed in the sand. She becomes terrified and begins to scream. How can her friends come to her aid when they are also trapped? None of them understood what should they do. When Vance sees her condition, he gets out of his car. He doesn't listen even though everyone forbids him. He falls as he walks on the sand. He grovels and is stuck with the sand. He tries to pick up himself but his skin is stuck with the sand. The sand has injured his body, and his friends start the car in order to assist his friend, but their car also doesn't start. Meanwhile, one of the boy named Mitch throws a rope at him, however, Vance is no longer in a position to hold the rope. Sadly, within a short time, his whole body goes inside the sand. The others cannot do anything except for seeing him going down inside the sand. They are all frightened and actually plan to escape as soon as possible. Jonah is the name of the boy who was sitting in the driver's seat of the car. He again tries to start the car but he couldn't do this. Then we see a healthy man who is in a drum when he is about to move. His friends tell him not to. If he moves and falls on the sand will absorb him. Are you kidding me? Says the man. He hasn't seen anything with his eyes, he was sleeping and was feeling pain. He starts moving. Someone will come to help us in 2 hours, according to Mitch. We've called, and if you stay here, they'll come and get us. Please pay attention to what I am saying. So the man agrees. Even if there was nothing like this, no help was on the way, they all were trapped on the beach. Kaylee informed them that they all partied on this beach the day before. Why this sand wasn't affecting us yesterday? Were there other people where they went? They guess those people also went into the sand. They aren't however stuck in the sand because they were not directly on the sand. They were in their cars or at the high place. Meanwhile, the fat man starts screaming again. He claims that the sun rays irritate him. His friend hurls sunscreen at him. He feels better after using it. Jonah sees the cracked egg on the edge of the beach and concludes that whatever hatched from it has burrowed under the sand and killed everyone during the night, including Vance, Heather, and Marcia. That big thing was an egg, and they made a big mess while breaking it. Now it is divided into 2 pieces. It's mean that whatever was inside it now it had to have comes out. Maybe the creature that came out from the egg lives in the sand. Mitch and Kaylee toss raw hot dogs at different ends of the beach to see how big the creature is, and the sand also takes hot dogs inside it. When one of the hot dogs doesn't sink into the sand, the group is hopeful, but realize it's way too far away to reach. We can't do anything, Jonah said. Jonah takes 2 of his surfboards and makes a bridge to reach the table Marcia had slept on. He walks on it successfully, but as he reaches near the table the skateboard was slipping. His feet were also slipping. As he slipped he came dangerously close to the sand. Due to it, creature comes out of the sand and touches his belly, but Jonah doesn't get nervous. He immediately climbs up on the table. There was a bag of snacks. He finds banana from bag. He starts vomiting after eating it. As he sees his belly there were many wounds. It was done by the thing that emerges from the sand. Jonah tells them, this is nothing, just think about your safety. With it he throws drinks towards them. Then Jonah feels pain in his stomach. His friend Shanda becomes sad and start weeping. Jonah says to her, don't cry, we are all strong. In the meantime, a girl in the car says our mobile phones are in the boot of the car, we have to take them so that we can call for assistance. No one wants to take the chance that the car's boot won't open while they're sitting here. A girl named Ronnie says I can do this. She stands on the car bumper and tries to open the boot, but it doesn't open. Shanda handovers her a piece of cloth so she may hold it tightly and may not fell on the sand, but still, she can't open the car's boot properly. Finally, Ronnie opens the boot of the car, but they see someone is coming. It means he is in charge of the beach. They all saw him. Ronnie's fingers are stuck in the boot. It means the boot is closed now. She screams, and they all try to summon the police officer. However, the supervisor claims this new generation does strange things after using drugs. He parks his car near them and is about to get out. He gets shocked after seeing his belly, who has done all this. Following that, He attempts to pull the healthy man out from the drum, but his weight was too much for him to bear, and he couldn't do it alone. He says, "I will call my team in a short time, they will rescue all of you from here, but I don't understand, what are you guys doing here?" Kaylee and Mitch tries to explain him everything. Shanda informs him, "Our friend's fingers have become entangled in the boot." The supervisor goes to help her, but he couldn't. Kaylee starts shouting on him. The supervisor approaches her and asks, "Why are you misbehaving with me? What's the problem with you?" She says, "Aren't you seeing we are in trouble? We can't come on the sand." The supervisor says, "Don't drag me in these games, come down immediately." But Kaylee and Mitch didn't come down because they know if they comes down they'll stuck into the sand. The supervisor pulls out his gun, and his keys falls on the sand. They all forbid him from putting his hands on the sand, but he didn't listen to them. As he touches the sand to pick up his keys, creature attacks on his hands. The supervisor had the pepper spray and sprays it on the sand, but all it doesn't affect on the creature. The creature has taken half of his arm with it. The hand of the supervisor cuts, his hand was bleeding and he starts screaming. Kaylee picks up the pepper spray as he exits. The supervisor completely falls on the sand. In a short time, the sand creature takes him inside it. Kaylee talks to her friend in the cabin. They understand the sand wasn't hurting the supervisor a while ago because his shoes were strong, that look like towel, it denotes fibers. Mitch says to Shanda, "Throw towels at him." When Shanda throws towels at him while catching them, Mitch falls from the cabin. As he falls down on the sand, the creature's tentacles comes out and attacks on the boy's body. The tentacles stuck with his body and start sucking his blood. The same thing happens to him as it does to others. It is a bad incident for his friends, they all seeing him with fear eyes. Shanda starts weeping while putting her hands on her ears. "Everything will be fine," Kaylee assures her. Kaylee, after a brief moment of sadness, takes charge. She has Shanda take the broken pieces of the boardwalk and use them as a bridge to get to Jonah. Before they do that, the girls manage to pull Ronnie's broken fingers from the trunk and bind her wound. Gilbert cuts his stomach on the trash can when he attempts to move, alerting the creature. Kaylee, Shanda and Ronnie all walk across the makeshift bridge to Jonah. However, Ronnie trips and, despite Kaylee spraying the area where she fell, is killed and sucked into the ground. Shanda then takes Mitch's plan to heart and ties towels around her feet and runs to the truck. She makes it and the group have a moment of happiness. Gilbert ends up being attacked by the creature, which kills him and sucks his body through the trash can. The creature also bangs against the truck, knocking Shanda unconscious. At nightfall, Shanda wakes up and recuperates. She gets to the back of the truck where a raft is. Shanda opens the raft up and uses it so Kaylee and Jonah can get to the car. Kaylee, Shanda and Jonah manage to get across and get the car open. Jonah and Kaylee tell the other that they love each other. However, the ground shakes wildly. A long glowing tentacle shoots out from the ground, attacking Kaylee. Kaylee manages to get back on top of the car and takes 2 of the gas cans on it and uses them to set one of the large tentacles on fire. Kaylee, Shanda and Jonah lock themselves in the car as the creature's tentacles attempt to bash it. Eventually the attacks stop, and after a few minutes of silence, Kaylee and Shanda see that Jonah has died from his injuries, having finally succumbed to the creature's venom. The 2 girls then cry for the loss of their dead friends. The next morning, the girls are awakened by a man, who asks them if they are okay. Kaylee and Shanda leave the car and walk on the beach, noting that the creature is gone, leaving only a crater about 100 yards in diameter, about 2 feet deep, all around the lifeguard tower and the beach patrol truck. The man calls an ambulance as Kaylee and Shanda walk off the beach, both of them traumatized. In the final shot, the creature, revealed as an enormous venomous jellyfish, is seen under the water, far away and headed towards another crowded beach of Santa Monica. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notification, so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.